Hey everybody. Today I want to tell you a story about the first time I read Nintendo Power. And if you remember the video we made recently about Super Mario Brothers Adventure comics, I mentioned those were originally in Nintendo Power magazine. And for youngsters out there that don't know what a magazine is,
you have to know.
A magazine is something like this. This is not Nintendo Power, this is Boy's Life, which is the Scout magazine that we get since Bennett's in Cub Scouts.
Boy's Life.
But basically they're like small paper books that you get in the mail usually once a month. And that's what this was, except this was Nintendo's official magazine. So I didn't start reading it from the beginning. I didn't know about it. Magazines were a big deal when I was a kid because we didn't have the internet to read about games or get news about it or anything. So magazines were the way we did that back then, besides just talking to each other.
Where's talk?
Talk? It's this crazy thing that sometimes people do to each other. People don't do it anymore. Now it's just all text.
Oh.
But anyway, the story is one of the things that I liked doing a lot when I was a kid was going to the arcade. Arcades were a big deal because we didn't have all these games at home yet. And when you did have games, they weren't as cool as the arcade. Arcade had way better games.
It's the best.
And now you go... There's still some arcades now, but it's not like what it was. There used to be a lot of them. Like now, mostly it's Chuck E. Cheese is the one that people see and go to for kids. Yeah, the one I liked going to
was Chuck E. Cheese.
Was not Chuck E. Cheese. It was called Bullwinkle's. If you've ever seen a very old cartoon called Rocky and Bullwinkle, or I think it's Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, that's something I grew up watching reruns of. I think it was originally on in the 60s, but it's about a moose and a flying squirrel and evil Russian spies, and like it has lots of other side stuff like Peabody and Sherman you might have seen on Netflix or the movie recently. Well, it started out on this show.
A weird show.
Well, you haven't even seen it. Talking about Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Oh, fine.
Anyway, this place was named after them, and it had robots of them. And I liked it better than Chuck E. Cheese because I think it was bigger, and I remember it had a cool fun house with a slide, like a dark slide, and it had different things. For some reason it was the one I preferred, and it doesn't exist anymore.
Wait, isn't that the one that had the robots?
It had some robots of like the cartoon characters.
Cool. Did he move around and kill people like on Five Nights at Freddy's?
Not that I know of. They did move around. Maybe we could look it up after this and look for some pictures about it. But Bullwinkle's doesn't exist anymore. It got closed down a long time ago and turned into a nightclub. And then I think it's turned into some other stuff since then. But Bullwinkle's was my favorite arcade spot. I remember winning my favorite toy from a crane there.
What toy?
It's called Herman the dog. It's a stuffed animal dog.
Do you still have it?
Yes, I gave it to you. You don't remember? I'll show you. I saw it recently. But anyway, one time when we went there, I was having fun, and I made a friend, and we were playing some games. And I remember mainly we played Rampage. And Rampage is the game where you pick different monsters.
Wait, mainly? Like, did you play with someone with me twice, you said, though?
Pretty much. We played this day, and Bennett's already heard the story. So we played Rampage a lot, I remember, and pretty sure he liked being the werewolf and I liked being the lizard guy. We had fun with that, and then our moms saw we were getting along, so they exchanged phone numbers and set up for us to play.
Yay!
So then I went to his place to play, and I'd never seen anything like it because it was a huge mansion.
Like Luigi's mansion.
Except it wasn't scary because I was there in the day. But it was a huge, huge place. And I mean, I wasn't poor. We were middle class. We had an average sized place and like I had toys and stuff, but this place was amazing. Like, this kid had everything. He had all kinds of toys. He had all the games.
Look at these rich. Lucky.
Well, and the place was just huge. They were preparing for some kind of event to be held there, I think later in the day. So they had people setting up. They had, I don't know if they were caterers or their staff there, because it was so big it could have been people that actually worked at the house, but they were cooking for it and making it nice. And we were running around trying not to get in the way too much and have fun. Yeah, one of the cool things he had was you could climb a ladder up onto his roof, and then it had a kind of landing balcony area on top of his roof where you could hang out. That was really cool. And I'm not sure how old I was at this point. This is sometime in probably late 80s, early 90s, so I was still pretty young.
Oh, young. Were you 9?
I might have been around 9, or I might have been a little younger.
I have one question.
Probably a little younger.
I have one thing I need to tell these people, though. Imagine your dad's telling you this. Imagine this guy's yours.
So we were hanging out, having a good time at the mansion, and then he was showing me all his games and stuff. He had a lot I didn't have. I don't even know how much I had at this point, really.
Now you have more than him, you think, right?
Well, I don't know. Maybe he's probably still rich.
No fair.
And then he showed me his collection of Nintendo Power magazines, and I hadn't heard of it at the time, so I didn't know Nintendo had an official magazine. And like, as soon as I saw it, I knew I wanted it, and I just loved it. I loved that it had all the news about upcoming games, it had reviews of games, it had comics, it had the letters section, it had walkthroughs for games, cheat codes, just all kinds of cool stuff about the games.
Wait, are the cheat codes how like they found like the secret on Mike Tyson, like where you could like find Mike Tyson just right away?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Ooh!
Stuff that the only other way you'd find out about this stuff was maybe if your friends told you at school or something. You didn't have a way of getting a hold of like all this cool behind the scenes stuff, so I was hooked. So out of everything about the mansion, I was most impressed by the Nintendo Power magazines.
I'll be impressed with the toys.
I didn't care. I just wanted the magazines. So when I went home, I asked my parents, and we started. I'm not sure how long, but I remember getting the magazines pretty quickly, and then I subscribed to it for years and years. Subscribe?
Wait, on YouTube?
No, you subscribed to magazines back then.
Oh, so magazines were YouTube by then?
Yeah, they were the YouTube of the day. But one of the things we would do at my school a lot to raise money is sell magazine subscriptions. And I would always make sure to sell one to myself for Nintendo Power. So I stuck with it for many, many years. I loved everything about it. And since I was a Nintendo guy, I didn't care that it didn't cover anything else. Once I got older, I started wanting to read about some of the other companies a little more. So I started reading Electronic Gaming Monthly and Game Pro and some other ones. But
oh, and you started reading Christine.
So we're reading Christine right now, which is a spooky Stephen King story.
I can show you if you want. Should I?
No, that's okay. So anyway, that's my story about how I found Nintendo Power on a chance trip to the mansion.
Luigi's mansion.
Which was pretty memorable for me. It's a day I never forgot.
Day of beauty.
Alright, thanks for watching.
Wait, I just have to show you Christine. Here it is. And then, goodbye. You have anything to say?
Goodbye.
And goodbye. Honk honk.